Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be doing a homeschool Q&A. I wanted to chat about questions I have gotten from you guys. I just kind of talk about how it's been going so far. I apologize in advance. My throat is extremely scratchy right now. I had a sore throat yesterday and it's like going away right now, but it's in that scratchy stage. So I made myself some hot tea with some honey. So I'll be drinking this throughout, but I threw on some makeup so I feel better. I don't really feel that sick. It's just kind of like a mild cold. The girls that all had a cold, the girls and Owen, last week. And I feel like I'm just like catching the like remains of it. I don't know. I thought I got out of it without getting sick, but here we are. So I'm trying to heal up quick, but I cannot put this video off any longer. I feel like it's taking me forever to sit down and do this. So I have a list of questions from you guys and on my phone, and I just want to chat about like all the things that are working for us, kind of what our days are looking like right now. And I want this video to be a source. Oh my gosh. Our tree is a disaster right now, by the way. I'm loving this background with the holiday stuff. However, we got a real tree this year because ours, like it was pre-lit. And all the lights broke except one tiny strand. So we got a real tree from Costco. And I swear every day it just looks worse and worse. It reminds me of the tree from Christmas Vacation. I'm just like, I don't know, I'll be sitting and watching a show at the end of the night. And all of a sudden we hear like a whoosh, and then an ornament will just fall from the tree. So I'm hoping it makes it to Christmas. We will see. And it's also tilting, so it's a little terrifying right now. If you guys have never tried throat coat from Traditional Medicinals, the tea, it is the best. I feel like I'm Mrs. Claus right now sitting in my chair. I need a fire going behind me. It's raining today. What a great little mood, except the house is a disaster, but that's okay. So what I was saying is I want this video to be a source of encouragement for those of you who are maybe considering homeschooling and don't know where to start, don't know anyone close to you who does it, so you don't have somebody to reach out to. Or maybe if you have just begun like me, I would like to just share what we're doing, so hopefully it can give you guys some ideas. Keep in mind, we literally just started homeschooling this fall, so it hasn't even been a full year, and our girls aren't even in kindergarten yet. They're in TK technically, so obviously things are gonna change as the years go on. We're in a really sweet spot, a fun spot right now that I get to do these really awesome things with them. So I'm just trying to really enjoy the age that they're in. They're gonna be 5 next week, guys. It's so crazy. Okay, so kind of along that topic, a lot of you guys asked, how do you meet other homeschool moms out there? Because when you start to homeschool, you know, you feel like I need a sense of community and I need other moms to talk to. The funny thing about it for me is when the girls were in preschool, we never had one play date with any of their friends at school. I never talked to any of the other parents. Like it was, even though they were in school, I felt very disconnected the whole time. It could have been because of everything going on in the world. And so maybe people are just, you know, at the time weren't as open to talking, and it just didn't seem as friendly as I thought it would be. Like people would be like, oh, do your friends have a bunch of kids from school? And I was always like, no, not one. So it was not the environment that I thought it was going to be. Maybe if it was a few years ago, it'd be different. But fortunately for us, we just never really got that experience. Now that we're in this homeschool co-op group, it's just the best thing ever. I've never felt like I have so many moms that I could talk to, so many moms that I want to really get to know, like, and they're all in the same position. So I would say, if you know anybody around you who's considering homeschooling, you have to talk to them. You have to reach out. Ever since we started homeschooling, I've become so much more social than I have ever been in my entire life. And because I've seen the benefit of it, and I've seen how when you do reach out to people and talk about things who are going through things the same as you are, it just takes a little pressure off of yourself, and you can realize that, okay, we're all doing the same types of things together. My cousin had talked to me a lot about homeschooling, and we had kind of like gone back and forth about it, the two of us. And once we both decided we were going to, she then told me that she had a few friends who were in the same boat, and one of her friends actually made a Facebook page of a homeschool group co-op in like for moms in our area. And then a bunch of moms joined like super quick, and now we have a group of like 40 moms and some dads, and we're still trying to figure out like a schedule and a routine. But as of now, we meet every other week, and it's not like, not everybody goes every week. It's kind of like whoever can. Once a month we'll do a hike, and once a month we'll do some type of activity. Like in October, I set up a really fun little painting party for all the kids. Everybody brought their own pumpkin, and we all hung out there, and then usually they all play at the park afterwards. But it's a great time for everyone to get together, all the kids to play, and to do something, some type of enriching activity. And I love that there's different ages. So there's little kids and then there's older kids. They range, I mean, most of us have like a preschool, kindergarten child age. And then some of us have younger kids, like how I have Owen. I think the oldest kid in our group is maybe 7 or so. But it's really great to have all of them exposed to all of that at such a young age, because they, like the younger ones can learn from the older ones, and the older ones can help the younger ones. It's so cute. Owen always plays with like the oldest kid there, and I think it's just the cutest thing. And then once the kids are all playing at the park, the moms can all chat together. So definitely look around. Maybe on Facebook you can find a group. Look on Instagram. Even if you don't find a group yet, I would also encourage you to follow some accounts on Instagram. There are so many great ones. I'll try to find some I like that I'll put down below, but just for inspiration, for ideas. Not that you're going to do everything that they say, but it's a way to be like, okay, this is what they're doing, and you can kind of pick and choose what would work for your family. Something I've realized since homeschooling is every family's homeschool is going to look so different. Some are going to have really scheduled days. Some are going to have really loose days. We're kind of somewhere in between. I like to really go with the flow. Okay, I just had to take a super long break because my throat was so scratchy I couldn't even talk, so you'll try this again. Okay, so everybody's routine is going to look different. So for us in the morning, my goal is to always do morning time together. So what that looks like for us is I like to pick some library books that are kind of the same theme. We will read a story from the Bible together, like the children's Bible, and instead of just reading to them, I'll also have them doing something. So usually I'll give them like a piece of paper and some colored pencils, and as we're reading a book, I'll have them illustrate it. So if we're reading a book about a garden, I'll have them draw a picture of the butterfly and then add on to that picture as I keep reading the story. So they're engaged, but they're also busy with their hands, and it just kind of makes it go better. Like they're more in tune than if I'm just reading them a book. After I read them a Bible story, usually what we do is just kind of talk about it, and I'll be like, what do you think that means? And how does that relate to your life? And tell me an example, like what do you think that shows? Just to get them kind of understanding it better than just hearing the text. I also like to practice on their handwriting in the morning. So again, when I'm reading, sometimes I'll put I have these little like clear menu things, and I stick in paper. So I'll have them practice their alphabet. I'll have them practice their numbers. We also have like these little weather papers that I stick in there as well. So they just use a dry erase marker, and they can practice writing while I am reading to them. So again, I just like reading a lot out loud and having them be busy with their hands doing something. At this time, Owen's usually sitting with us, and I will give him something to do too. He just wants to be part of the action. So I'll give him some dry erase markers, a dry erase board, and he'll color or do something. Like he likes to play with like little blocks. He plays with those like little teddy bear manipulatives, and I'll just find something for him to do and sit at the table. And we do this around the dining table. I like to do this. I'm usually in my pajamas, drinking my coffee. I have them get dressed though. So like when we wake up in the morning, they kind of hang out. They'll usually just play. Sometimes they'll watch a show in the morning, and then I'll turn that off and we'll make breakfast. They'll eat. If they're not hungry yet, I'll just have them go upstairs, pick up their room, get dressed, and then I'll have breakfast ready, and that's when we'll sit down together. So like that's my goal, is to have the house kind of picked up in the morning. They'll go get dressed for the day, And then we'll all sit together and they'll have breakfast, I'll have my coffee, and that's when we do like our morning time. Some other ideas that I know other moms do is they will sing in the morning together, they'll pray, just something to like get everybody awake, you know, but it also sets the tone for the day. So I think doing something for your heart, so reading the Bible and praying and talking about maybe something that you're thankful for that day or something you like to do, just so that it's a little bit more of quiet time to set the foundation for the day. Because if we just start doing like a craft, it just seems to be a little more chaotic the rest of the day. After we do that, that's when we will either do like a math workbook or a language arts workbook. We have both of those. We actually just finished our Good and the Beautiful, what is it called? Kinder Primer. It's like the one before kindergarten. So I'm trying to figure out what to order next, if I want to just order the kindergarten one now, or if I want to do all about reading. Let me know what you prefer down below. Good and the Beautiful Kinder or all about reading Kinder, because I need to order one of the two like pretty soon. Sometimes we'll do a craft at this time and I'll look on Pinterest for ideas, or I'll just come up with stuff on the fly. We have a lot of craft paper, a lot of things that we can use. We can practice their cutting skills, and then we'll go into our little classroom, and I like to practice stuff on the whiteboard. So if we're doing our language arts, then if there's like different words on the page that we're working on, I'll have the girls come write them, and then we'll take turns writing those up there. Or I'll like do a word scramble and I'll circle the words that I say. We'll just kind of go through different things to practice writing, acknowledging sounds, and recognizing words and standing words out and doing all that stuff. So it's really fun. We have a good time with it. And we make it like a game. And then same thing for numbers. I'll have one come up and we'll like count to 20 and we'll like write them on the board, and we'll count by tens, and we'll just do different things, taking turns, working on our numbers or addition or stuff like that. If the girls start to get kind of squirrely, that is when I stop doing what we're doing. We'll clean up our stuff, and I will either have them go outside if it's nice, or let them go play. They'll go upstairs and play together. They'll be down here. They get into this creative zone. But my goal for this year, with them not even being in kindergarten yet, is to really follow their lead for all the things that we do in a lot of aspects. So if they're ever bored of something, if I want to get through it, we'll do that. But I never want it to be like a burden, like, ugh, we got to do school. Like, I want them to be very excited about doing school. And it's really worked out well for us, because now in the morning, they literally wake up and they're like in the classroom, like, what are we doing today, Mom? So they really are excited about it. I try not to make it like we have to do school, because to me, that really takes out the fun in learning. And my goal with this first year of homeschool is to really keep that spark of learning alive in their eyes. And I want them to just be curious and to want to know about things and want to learn about things. So I really do a lot of child-led learning. So what that means is if we're on a walk one day and they're like really into these birds, we will go home and we will look the birds up. We will talk about them. We will draw them. We will look up videos on the computer of them. We will read any bird books we have, and we'll make it like a unit study. I'm really into unit studies. I just think it's a good way to solidify things in your brain, because it's all themed together. So we do that a lot with holidays. So like in the fall, we did a lot of things with trees and nature and leaves. And then as we're coming into winter now, it's like we're learning about snowflakes and about the seasons changing. And I like to just kind of have it more themed so that they kind of know what to expect, and it all just really ties together nicely, and it makes me very happy. Same thing with our library books. I try to kind of have them kind of go with the seasons. So if they are getting squirrely or, you know, super giggly or whatever, we will take a break, take a pause, and then we'll come back to it a little bit later and do something else. So I like to keep our days very fluid, very relaxed. And if I see that either they're bored or they're like bickering about something and they need a little structure, then I'll have something for them to do. But my goal is honestly like 20 minutes of quote unquote structured learning, 20 minutes where I'm with them and we're really working on stuff. sometimes it's 2 hours that we do. Sometimes it's like 15 minutes. So it just really depends on the day, what we have going on, their moods. Also depends on how Owen is. Then as far as activities go, so one day a week they have dance, one day a week they have tennis. And then we do, like right now we're doing a little Christmas recital with their homeschool group. So that's twice a week for practice. So that's kind of a lot going on right now. But usually we have like tennis and dance, and then maybe twice a month something with the homeschool group. And then every now and then we'll plan like a little play date with one of their friends or whatever. But we have actually a lot more going on now than we did with when they were in school. I've had to cut down what we're doing and say no to a lot of things because most of their friends are homeschooled now. And so, you know, there's a lot of fun things to go do that I want to do. I'm like, oh, let's go to this craft day, or let's go do this. But I have to limit the amount of things that I do, because when I first decided to homeschool, one of my reasons was to simplify life in general. And so if we're doing, you know, an activity every day outside of the house, to me, that defeats the purpose. I want home to be the focal point for these early years for the girls. And there really is not a ton of need for them to be around kids every single day. I don't think that's completely necessary. Then, I mean, they're around kids all the time. So like the social aspect is really just not even a topic, because they're around kids their age like all the time. And it's a little bit more controlled, if that makes sense. You know, it's like they're doing something where I'm there with them and we know what they're doing. And then I can kind of be there more front and center, helping them with whatever learning things we're doing. Another thing that I really like about homeschool is how I can really help with building their character at home, help with discipline, I see what's going on all day now. And if there's an issue, then I can really help it right away. Whereas when they're at school and they come home, maybe something happened that I didn't know about, and it comes up like a week later, but I don't know how to address it or how to handle it because I just wasn't there and I didn't see it firsthand. So now, you know, I love seeing them with Owen all the time, and we've had so many talks about being with him and sharing with him and how he doesn't understand things fully yet. And Owen's been able to be with them all the time now. So I really like us just really strengthening our family right now. It just feels like, you know, we're all together all the time now. And so it's like you got to learn how to get along, you know? And I remember hearing somebody say that. She was like 16. She's been homeschooled her whole life. And she's like, everybody asked me, you know, I mean, how do you get along with your family? And she's like, well, I mean, I'm with them all the time. So you either get along or you're not happy all the time, you know? And I just like that perspective. It's like, if you're going to be at home with your kids, I mean, you have to figure out a way to make it work. I want our family to be so close. And so this is a way to really strengthen all of our relationships together. And yeah, sometimes it can be hard and I can be so freaking frustrated and I just need a minute. And the other day I literally just ran to my closet and just sat down because I was like, oh, because Owen is just so whiny right now. He whines about everything. And it can be so draining. And Violet's like, Mom, where are you? Where are you? And she found me and she's like, Mom, I'll sit with you. I love spending time with you. I'm like, thanks, Violet. So yes, there are a lot of moments that I have where I'm just like so frustrated and fed up, but I always like come back to, okay, what is the goal of this? Like this is all gonna benefit all of us. So right now I'm just really trying to enjoy doing all these things with the girls that are just fun. We get to learn about just really simple, fun things right now. And they're just so excited about all of it. So I'm really enjoying it. It's really fun. And I just have that teacher side in me. Like I went to school to be a teacher. And so I think to me, it's like I get to do all these things that I used to be so excited about doing. That was another question that I got asked was, okay, what if I'm not qualified to be a teacher? I've listened to so many podcasts and on very seasoned homeschool moms, and they all say if you know your child the best, so you are the most qualified to help them. And I think that's just such great advice. Like obviously there are amazing teachers out there and I don't want this to ever feel like I'm you know, saying that I'm better than teachers. Like, teachers are great. I was going to be a teacher, you know, but I think there is something very special and unique about homeschooling, especially like for me, because we have twins, and Violet's right-handed, June's left-handed. They have very different learning styles. So, and I know them so well, you know, I know one little look they give, I know that they're like frustrated or whatever. And they're also very emotional kids. And I remember their teachers telling me like, yeah, they cried again today. So now that they're at home, I can like kind of fix the problem right then and there, and just tend to what they need more. And so if you know, are a little skeptical, just know that you know your kids so well, you love your kids so well, and you want the best for them. If you're homeschooling your kids, you want them to do well. So you will find the resources and the power to make that happen for you and your kids. If like they're, you know, getting into older grades and you're like, shoot, I don't know how that works, how to explain that to my child, you can Google literally anything. And I think there are just so many resources for us now. It's so different than it was a while ago. I heard this too, where it was like, I don't know if I'm qualified to homeschool. I think I need to send them to school. And the mom talking to him was like, well, if you went through the whole school system yourself and you don't feel like you know enough to teach your kids, then why would you want to put them through that? I just thought that was so insightful, because that is so true. If you feel like you don't know enough, and why would you put them through the same thing? Like, that's just repeating that process all over again, you know? So also our church has a homeschool group. So look into your church. We have a group that meets up every so often, and we went to a play with them, which was really fun. So there are so many groups now that have homeschool groups a part of them. And I think it's just way more common now, which is really nice. One of the moms, her daughter does tennis with her girls, and she was homeschooled for a few years out of her life. And she was saying that, you know, back then, like, it wasn't very popular. And she was like, I was seen as like a weird homeschooler. And she was saying, but now it's so nice because all these kids who are being homeschooled, it's just like so much more normal now. And we're doing this little Christmas recital thing with the kids, and there's like 20 kids in it, and it's just really cool. Somebody said, I want to homeschool. I have no idea where to start. I would look around at different curriculums. A few that I've heard about are The Good and the Beautiful, Abeka, master books all about learning, and just go to different blogs and you can type in like curriculum for first grade and just read some reviews of them. There's so many reviews, and from all the podcasts I've listened to on homeschooling, guys, the Wild and Free podcast is amazing. There's no new episodes, but I've listened to all of them, so they're so good. It really helps to ease your mind about homeschooling. If you are a little nervous, highly recommend listening to the podcast and read the book, Wild and Free. It's so good. But all the moms say that usually the curriculum that you use year to year is gonna vary. It's not like you pick one your first year and you're tied to that and you can't ever switch. There's always flexibility with homeschooling. That's the beauty of it. There's so much freedom in it. So if something is not working for your kids, you can switch the next year or like the next 6 months later and just see what works for you guys, and also ask around. That's why I think we're gonna do all about reading next, but I'm not sure. Somebody said, was your family supportive of the decision? Luckily, yes, they were super happy. But I know there are a lot of people who aren't and who don't agree with that. To that, I would say to kind of just nip it quick. You know, if they bring it up to you, just be like, you know what? I understand that you wouldn't do this, but this is what is going to work best for me and for our family. And I'm really excited about it. And I think it's going to be really great. And that's just, it is what it is. So I'm sorry that we don't agree. Like, you have to just kind of keep it simple, but let them know, like, I'm not changing my mind based on your opinion, you know, and they need to respect your decision. Okay, somebody said weekly schedule, minimal supplies, or all the stuff. So again, we go day to day, and it depends on if we have an activity that day. But like if they have dance, it's not until later in the morning. So we will do our school in the morning, and then they'll go to dance, and usually it's lunchtime by then, and then quiet time. But once they're up from quiet time, that's when we will bake together, we will cook in the kitchen, or we'll do like a craft together. Something very hands-on, something that is not just like sitting, because they have most of their focus is in the morning. So that's why I utilize that time and just read your kids. If your kids are wild in the morning, then maybe that's not the best time to sit down and practice your handwriting. But for the girls, they're very focused like early. So 6 a.m., we're all awake. So by 6:20, we're downstairs like doing school stuff. But I know that it's not the norm for people, but that just is what works best for us. They kind of like to do stuff and be done with it. And then they have the freedom to do other things. But yeah, in the afternoons, that's when we'll go to the park together, or we'll go to the library. We'll get out of the house and do something. We'll run an errand if we have to. And that's another thing that I like about homeschool is all these chores that I'm doing when they were gone, now they're all a part of these chores. So now they're having to pick up way more around the house. They are learning how to do the laundry with me. They're learning how to bake. They're learning how to, when we run errands together, like, oh, this is the post office. Let's learn about the post office. You know, they're learning more life skills of things that I would just kind of check off my box while they were at school. I get it all done. But now we're all doing it together. So it really changes it a lot. And it might take a little bit longer with them, but I like that they're learning all of this stuff. And it makes me wish that like I was able to be home more with my mom, so I could like be in the kitchen more with her, like do more things with her. Like that just seems really neat to me. So I love that. Somebody asked, do you have any fears of homeschooling? Honestly, no. And the reason is because I've watched or listened to so many podcasts of so many amazing moms just pour their insight and their experience out, and it all has just made me so encouraged. And I would encourage you guys to listen to these podcasts because they are just so great, and they've given me so much just hope in the whole process. So, and also honestly, I've said this in a past video, but I never felt more called to do something in my life before. And I just felt like it all kind of clicked at one time. Like we found a new church, and this is when we were thinking about homeschooling, and it really was apparent to me that this is what I should be doing for our kids. And whenever I could get overwhelmed or feel like I have a lot going on, I just try to center myself and realize like, hey, I'm doing all of this for my kids, and this is my sole purpose right now, to be their teacher and to be their mom, you know, to be their mentor, and they're the one teaching them everything about life. Like how crazy, you know, I mean, I can get so overwhelmed with all the little mundane things of life too, but I mean, think about how needed we are right now as moms. Like we are needed to feed our kids, to change their diaper, to put them to bed, to help them pick their clothes, to help them hang their clothes up, to take them places. Like they need us for everything. And so that is just so many opportunities to be such a source of light in their lives and encouragement and love in their lives. And to me, I see homeschooling more as like, what an incredible thing that I get to do. Not that I have to do it or I'm forced to do it, but the fact that I'm able to do this for them is just so amazing, that I get all this. Now it's like I uncovered all this time that I get with my kids now. All this time that would be taken away from me when they were in school, I get to have it now back. Like I get to be with them now so many more hours. And to me, that's just like the greatest thing ever. Okay, and then one other thing about like higher education, again, through all these podcasts, I've learned all about this. Yes, a lot of homeschool kids go to school, go to college, and you just figure out the courses you need to take. Also, when you get into higher grades, sometimes moms hire tutors for like calculus or whatever it is. And there's a lot of online courses too that you can take part in. There's so many options now, which is really cool. But another thing that I like, and this was Andrew's like main reasoning for wanting to homeschool. One, he liked the freedom and how you can advance more quickly. If you are excelling in a particular subject, you can go quicker in that. Or if you are not, you can, I can give them more time in that area. But what he liked most is, Andrew had so much debt from physical therapy school, and luckily now we've paid that all off, but it was a huge burden in our lives. And yes, for some professions, you have to go to higher education, obviously, but there are so many other professions that you do not need to go to college for. And so we like the option too of being, this was not even if they were going to be homeschooled or not, but even if they were just in normal high school. And this is not to say that they're not ever going to go back to a school, I'm going to be very flexible. Like maybe in a few years we want to put them in school. It just kind of depends on everything going on and how they are, and we will see. But as far as like after high school, you know, maybe there is a trade that they really are interested in and they can work on that in their teenage years. And then by the time they're out of high school, they're like already ready to start their job. So there's just so many professions that you do not need a college degree for. And you can save so much money by not taking out loans and by not spending money for college. For me now, I mean, I didn't have to go to college now that I'm in the social media world, but I mean, yes, I loved my college experience and everything. Would I do it again? I don't know. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure. But that just goes to show that like not everything you do you don't have to go to college for. And now there's so many online things. There's just so many like trade professions that you could just kind of do on your own way. Okay, so that is going to be it for today's video. I feel like I've talked a lot. My voice is getting very scratchy, but if you guys have anything else you want to talk about, let me know in the comments. I'd love to chat more about this, or send me a message on my Instagram, which is with Kendra, and I love to chat there with you guys there too. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.